aren't real. They are not real people. People use the expression all the time that social media isn't real. These people are the epitome of that expression. They are not real people. Everything about them is a facade. I watched the documentary The Manosphere yesterday. There's a lot to unpack there. The people in the documentary kept saying that there was like this paradoxical sort of view that these men have about women, where they send the message that women are supposed to act and behave in a certain way, conduct themselves in a certain way, but then they surround themselves with women who behave in the complete opposition. That's not paradoxical. Saying that women should act and behave in a certain way, but then surrounding themselves with women who act in opposition to that gives them, in their minds, permission to mistreat these women, because these women aren't holding themselves to the standard. What stood out to me most was the pattern of insecurity that lives underneath the rhetoric. The criticism that they direct at women, at society, at culture, at other men didn't read as confidence. It reads as defensiveness. Constant criticism, continued constant criticism that essentially becomes their entire personality, is a sign of insecurity, not strength. When someone's entire identity depends on tearing other people down, ranking people, policing behavior, and continually asserting authority, that's a sign of instability, not strength. For me, as someone who essentially grew up in a time when the digital world was like really kicking off. When I was younger, bulletin boards were still popular. Chat rooms were really growing in popularity. To me, the manosphere, this idea of like toxic masculinity, isn't new. I was exposed to that when I was younger. Those people have always existed online. They're keyboard warriors. They feel powerful behind the keyboard. They feel powerful behind the camera. Even though these people are in front of the camera, like I'm in front of the camera right now, I'm behind the camera. I'm the one controlling what you get to see. I get to take this video and cut it down and edit it and change my wording if I didn't like how I said something. That's the world that they live in. One of the guys on the documentary said that nothing that he says ever needs to be edited. And then in the very next scene, his team of people was editing down his video and posting clips of it to all the various social media platforms. I don't think a single word that any of those men said in that documentary was truth. Not a single word. Everything that they said was a lie. Nothing that they said made any sense, and almost none of it was even like intelligible. The men in this documentary are not an example of top tier men. They think they are because they have created this false persona and this echo chamber that gives them constant, steady input that they are the best that has ever existed. And they don't interact with criticism. That's part of why I say it's not paradoxical that they set this really high standard for women to live up to, but then surround themselves with women who don't meet that standard that they say women should meet. Because then they never have to like listen to any criticism at all. Most of the women that they surround themselves with are there purely transactionally. It's women who are in the company that they bought that manages OnlyFans creators. They're there to interact with them on a business level. Other women that they surround themselves with are just there to gain clout so that they can build their own online presence up even more so that they can increase their income. So again, it's very transactional. There were only a couple of women there who were there just to be with the men, and they didn't take criticism from those women well at all. One of the women who was on the documentary, who was asked about whether or not she would be okay with the Manosphere man having a second wife, which clearly she was not, but didn't really want to say in front of him. After the documentary was over, she left him. And the way that he handled that was to not tell anyone until enough of his fans and followers pestered him about it that he felt like he actually had to. They never say how they really think or feel. They lack the confidence to actually say what they think or feel because they're always just working so hard to keep up this persona that they're the best because they know that they're not.